I think I was signed up for something. Oh, you are? Yeah. Gee.
Depending on the time.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Jones. I will be the Sergeant of Arms tonight. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. Bathrooms are behind me. Men's on that side, women's on that side. There's also one way back there, but you can use this one. And please quiet your phones, all that good stuff, mute them. What else? I think that's going to be it for me. I don't have anything witty to say. Usually Cameron's up here. He's got something wonderful to say, but I'll just go ahead and turn it over to our club president, Eric Laxer.
Thank you, David. We have the quality is very important, not the size. We have a small crowd here tonight, but some of it could be the weather. We've had a couple people call in sick, and we have our Toastmaster of the day arriving perfectly. He survived on his bicycle in the rain. We're very glad that he's here. So if you've never been to Toastmasters, then you're going to be in for a treat this evening. We have a great meeting. We have some really good speakers. And you will see what happens at a typical meeting, because people who come up here who signed up for roles from our club, they will explain their roles to you. And you can also follow along. There's an agenda at each of your tables. I have a couple of things to take care of before we get started. We have a new member. We are very excited to recognize. For those of you who know, Toastmasters is big on ribbons, which reflect achievements that all of us do in our club. So please join me in welcoming our new member, Mr. Malcolm Lowe. You're welcome. Welcome to our club.
Thank you. Thank you.
So for those of you who have been here before as guests, as you know, we give our guests an opportunity to introduce themselves. Just let us know your name, where you're from, how you heard about us. And then at the end of the meeting, we give you an opportunity to just give us a little feedback about your experience at the meeting. So I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to start this way. I see some familiar faces. And if you don't mind just letting us know who you are, how you heard about us, and where you're from. Will?
Yep, I'm Will. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. I'm in Charlotte on a temporary basis that may become permanent. I've been involved with Toastmasters back when I was in Buffalo since about 2018. So I heard of you guys by the Toastmaster website and was very impressed with being the oldest club and just look very professional. So this is my second meeting with the group and very happy to be here.
Delighted that you've come back again. Thank you for joining us.
Hi guys, my name's Pooja. This is I think my third time coming out here. I'm not dead, so that's why I'm here.
Many of us can say that. So that was a good comment. And hi. Good. How are you, Tyler?
I'm well. My name is Tyler Ferguson. I'm from Charlotte. I heard about Toastmasters via my mom. She's a professor at UNCC. I had heard about Toastmasters a couple of years ago, and it piqued my interest. And then I was looking for public speaking classes, and she had mentioned, have you heard of Toastmasters? So I said, you know what? I have. Maybe I should check it out. So I looked at the website and got in contact with Eric, and he said to come out, and I was excited to come. Thanks.
Welcome. That was me.
That was you.
What kind of professor is your mom?
She's public speaking.
That's awesome. Good advice. Good advice. So those of you who have not been here before, you'll see on your table, we have these little comment sheets. Please feel free to fill them out and offer any positive remarks, words of encouragement, constructive feedback to anybody who comes up here. And then if you've completed one, just hold it up. I'll come around at some point and I'll collect them and give them to that person. Without further ado, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce the person who will run our meeting this evening. We are thankful that he made it here safe and sound. He is our club's VP of membership. He has an interesting theme tonight, which is titled the Darwin Awards. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Toastmaster Colin Stifler. Welcome, sir.
I like the all black motif you got going on, or is that navy down on the bottom? All right. Well, I mean, either way, it's working. It's working. Dark and mysterious. I like it. How we doing tonight? Doesn't sound like it based on that response. How we doing? Great. Who's excited to be here? All right. All right. Yeah, we'll take it. I'm getting a lot of juice coming from Rockney right here. Everyone else has got to get on his level. Welcome one, welcome all to Queen City for another fabulous Tuesday night. We got a new member in the house. Let's give it up for Malcolm. Let's keep that applause going for all of our guests. Woo! All right, thank you for all coming out tonight. A couple weeks ago, our beloved brother Jamie, club treasurer, gave a speech about Alfred Nobel, Swedish engineer, chemist, entrepreneur. So there are always many things. These Renaissance men, arms dealer, a lot of moral complexity there, definitely. But then he came back a couple weeks later and he led a meeting as Toastmaster on the theme of the Nobel Prize, for which Alfred Nobel left his estate to fund. The Nobel Prize was created in 1895, I believe, to really celebrate the pinnacle of human achievements. I believe the actual words used in the criteria are prizes for those who have conferred the greatest benefit to humankind in the prior year. And there are 5 different categories of Nobel Prizes to honor these individuals and their achievements. Brace yourselves, people, because tonight, this is going to be much lower brow stuff that we're talking about. We are talking about the Darwin Awards, so basically the opposite of the Nobel Prize. The Darwin Awards, in contrast to the Nobel Prize, began in 1985, a good 90 years after the Nobel Prize came into existence. And unlike the lofty aspirational ideals of the Nobel Prize, the Darwin Awards were created to, quote, recognize individuals who have contributed to human evolution by selecting themselves out of the gene pool, by dying or becoming sterilized in an extraordinarily idiotic manner, thereby improving our species' chances of long-term survival. As you can probably tell, this is some pretty tongue-in-cheek stuff. You know, this is rooted in humor and sarcasm, but I do think that there is probably some truth to that criteria right there. Maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing that these people have passed on as a result of these actions. I'll let you be the judge tonight. We're going to hear some of these stories tonight. But there are 5 rules that one must complete to be eligible or adhere to in order to be eligible for a Darwin Award. The first rule is that a nominee for a Darwin Award must be dead or rendered sterile. It means they cannot reproduce. The nominee must have demonstrated astoundingly stupid judgment in the course of dying or becoming rendered sterile. They must have been capable of sound judgment. So the stupid judgment that they exercised that led to their demise or led to their injury or whatever it might have been must not have been because of any sort of intellectual disadvantage or disability that they had. They must have been people of sound health who just shouldn't have done something this stupid. They must have been the cause of their own demise. Their stupidity must not have been, a secondary factor in their death. It has to be the primary factor in their death. Somebody else's stupidity who might have been standing right next to them that led to them dying doesn't really count. Can't be considered a Darwin Award winner if that is the case. And then the event must be verified. There are plenty of myths that abound with the Darwin Awards, but the ones that are truly the winners and recipients of the annual awards are ones that have been verified. So the examples that I'm going to share with you tonight are going to be things that actually happened. They might sound too good to be true, but they actually happened. Some further caveats here that are good to be aware of. No innocent bystanders must have been killed or injured as a result of the award winner's nominating act. And so if David, for example, uncharacteristically does something ridiculously dumb and out of character, which, he's a rational man, he's a reasonable man, I find him to be intelligent, I wouldn't expect that. But if you went off the rails, if you did something stupid and it caused Elvis to be killed, on one hand, I guess, we're celebrating the fact that you've removed yourself from the gene pool, but it's not really a benefit to society if he takes Elvis down with him. So you're not allowed to have killed or injured anyone else. Close calls, fine, but you're not allowed to have actually impacted anyone else's life. And then I just want to point out that 90% of award winners since the Darwin Awards inceptions have been men. Surprise, surprise. I don't think anyone should be surprised by that. Let me start off with a softball for you. So in 1997, Wayne Roth was at his friend Roger's house in Jenkins Township, Pennsylvania. He was admiring Roger's pet cobra in a terrarium in his basement. And he thought to himself, well, hot dang, I want to pet that thing. I want to give that cobra a little pet. And so he playfully put his arm inside of the terrarium, was promptly bit by the cobra, and then told Roger, I'm a man. I can handle it. He refused to go to the hospital and he died about 3 hours later in Roger's basement. Also calls into question what sort of friend Roger is. But I think needless to say, is that pretty dumb? Yeah. Has anyone here ever wanted to pet a cobra? Yeah. Has anyone here even wanted to, have you? You love snakes? You love snakes? Not poisonous ones? I mean, what do you do when you see a snake normally?
When I see somebody like on the street, like if I'm in Asheville or something, I always hold a snake.
Do people hold snakes on the street in Nashville?
Yeah. A lot of cities do that. You walk around, they have you never seen that before?
Tom, do you hold snakes? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. But they're not poisonous? Okay. All right. Would you pet a poisonous snake?
No.
All right. Well, good. We're just checking here. We're just checking. All right. So we're going to weave some of these stories in throughout our meeting tonight. But if you haven't been to a meeting before, I'm just looking around the room. It looks like everyone has. You probably know that every Toastmasters meeting follows the same basic format. We have this sort of preamble. We introduce the key players, but then we dive into the main event, which is the prepared speeches of the evening. We always get jacked up about those. And then after that, we get into some improvisational speaking. So the opposite of prepared speaking, you get to flex your verbal agility and athleticism a little bit through that. And then we get into the evaluation, which is really, really a sweet little dessert that we get out of the meeting to hear what we could have done better, because where else are you going to find that? And to shepherd us through this successful evening, because we've got a great lineup tonight, I need to call upon a couple of friends to help get this party started. Do we have an inspirational speaker tonight? We do not. All right. Ooh, I don't know. I might pass this one around. Malcolm is our newest member. Would you mind joining me up here, please? Well, you made an inspired decision by joining this club, did you not?
Yes.
Okay.
Very inspired decision. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I can feel it. I can feel it. Would you like to share any words of wisdom or encouragement with our brothers and sisters who are with us tonight?
Repeat the question.
Would you like to share any words of encouragement?
Words of encouragement. Okay. Yes. I'm thinking on my feet here.
Good. Take your time.
Yeah. Words of encouragement. I heard words of encouragement on the TV from a speaker the other day who said, as long as you wake up in the morning and are still peeing, you're good to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You have a good pee this morning?
I did. Good release.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Malcolm, thank you very much. Give it up for Malcolm. It's the little things, people. Take pleasure in the little things. Next, I'd like to bring up a very important person who is going to be helping us mind our punctuation, our grammar, type of speech that we're utilizing tonight, and that is none other than our social media wizard, Yasmin Rigo.
Thank you, Toastmaster Colin. My name is Yasmin, and this evening I will be the grammarian. So, like I always like to say, I'm going to be the grammar police. So I will just be monitoring the ums, so's, all the filler words that we kind of say just when we don't know what to say or need to pause. So I will be doing that. And in addition, I will be providing the word of the day. I won't lie. So the word of the day is evolve, but I probably went through 20 different words after looking up the Darwin Awards. I went down a whole rabbit hole. So I thought of some that were a little dark, and I was like, you know what? We'll keep it simple. So the word of the day is evolve. But yes, Colin, I hope you know this. I went down a probably 2-hour rabbit hole on the website for the Darwin Award. So if you haven't done it, it's pretty interesting. It goes back like decades. So yeah. But that is my role for the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. Kind of the yin to the yang of the grammarian is the timer. So if the grammar is helping us become conscious of our use of language, either positively or constructively, the timer is helping us become consciously aware of our relationship with time, which can often be warped when you're standing in front of a crowd holding a microphone. So on short notice, like the real team player that he is, the handsome team player that he is, we've got Rockney Bryant, who is stepping in as our timer at the 11th hour. Let's give a warm Queen City welcome to Rockney.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Rockney Bryant, and I will be your official timer this evening. So for the prepared speeches, we typically have a time between 5 and 7 minutes. So say, for example, at the 5-minute marker, I would light up the green bulb. At the 6-minute marker, I will light up the yellow bulb. And at the 7-minute marker, I would light up the red bulb. So icebreaker speeches are from 4 to 6 minutes. Table topics, 1 to 2 minutes. The evaluator speeches, or the evaluators giving their evaluations of the prepared speeches are 2 to 3 minutes. The general evaluation is 3 to 4 minutes, and the grammarian, 2 to 3 minutes. So thank you very much.
Masterfully done, Rockney. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Do you think that you are macho? Raise your hand if you think that you are macho. Rockney, come on, throw that hand up there. That's right. That's right. All right. So we got one at least. We got one. So did Polish farmer Krzysztof Asninski. In 1995, Asninski, who was 30 years old at the time, had been drinking with some friends when it was suggested that they start playing some quote unquote men's games. See a pattern starting to emerge here? Initially, they hit each other over the head with frozen turnips. But then one man took it to the next level by cutting off the end of his foot with a chainsaw. To one up his comrade, Asninski grabbed the chainsaw and shouted, "Watch this then," and swung it at his own head, which he chopped off. "It's funny," said one companion. "When he was young, he put on his sister's underwear. But today he died like a man." With that, we're going to move into our prepared speaking segment of the meeting. Yes. I believe I said that they were drinking at the beginning of it. What they were drinking and in which quantity, I do not know. I presume it was a large quantity and it was a high proof. But I'd like to bring up now a very special member of our club, one who has just absolutely grabbed the bull by the horns these past several months since she joined Queen City Toastmasters. She is on Pathways Level 1, Option 2 of the Presentation Mastery Pathway, giving a speech tonight titled Exploring the Impact of Poetry on My Life. Let's make some absolute noise, and I mean, let's tear the house down for Mumita Banerjee.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for such a wonderful introduction. I dwell in possibilities. This is the first line of the famous poem from Emily Dickinson. Who won't be drawn to such a beautiful line? Dear guest, Toastmaster, let me try to take you through the journey, through few poems that had evolved me into a better person. In our school, we had a club, Interact Club. The club used to do certain projects with Rotary Club, and one of the project was to create awareness in the rural areas of our state. I come from eastern part of India, so there are certain villages which were inaccessible, and the project was to create that awareness. So we had 4 days of trekking, and prior to that, I never had a trekking experience. I didn't know what trekking was because we never had that kind of activity going on. So our school bus, and we were accompanied by our teachers. So our school bus dropped us near the river. It's a Brahmani river, which flows to our through our state. We crossed the river by boat, and then we were on our foot. We were walking through the forest, through the villages, and at certain point, our English teacher, he pointed out to a cloud. See that cloud. And when we saw, and he started quoting the line of the poem, I wander lonely as a cloud by William Wordsworth. I wander lonely as a cloud, high over the vale, hills, and I see the, and then I see a certain, a crowd. It's a host of golden daffodils beside the lake, beneath the tree, fluttering and dancing in a bridge. That line and the mapping of the line with the reality was an amazing experience. At least I never felt in that way. I'm sure my friends over there also felt the same way. Prior to that, English poetry was not our thing. We were more fond of playing on the ground than to go for poetry classes. So that was a beautiful and amazing experience, which again helped us to evolve. And I felt like there's a human feeling for us. Like prior to that, I think we grew up a bit in that second. And then we proceeded with our assignment, which was interacting with the villagers, uh, talking about the awareness of the education, importance of education. And at night, we would wind up either on a house of a village head, kind to give us the house to stay, or in a government school. So at dinner time, we used to have our ghost story because there was no electricity. It was dark, and it was almost like camping kind of experience. So we used to talk about ghost stories and everything. And then suddenly one of my friend started talking about the poem Kubla Khan. So the poem was written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, which was he was reading a book on Kubla Khan, and Kubla Khan's place is a very fancy, in that century, it was a beautiful and fancy place. And It is called as Xanadu. Xanadu's is referred as a very beautiful place, and the lines where with walls and towers were grilled round, and there were gardens bright with cypress fields, where blossomed many incense-bearing trees. The poem is a vision in dream, a fragment. So that was imagination. It improved our imagination. Prior to that, we used to read comics. That used to help us in our imagination. But translating the poem, thinking like group of people talking about a place, about the poem, that helped us to improve our creativity. And it's like it brings the smile in everyone's face, whatever be the situation. And that actually helped us to be kind to the people with whom we were interacting in the villages. It was the fourth day of our trek, and the person who was aware of, because at that time there was no internet, no GPS, and it's very rural place, so there was no direction also to guide us how to go. But there was one person in our group who used to let us know, like, this is the road we should be taking, and this is how we should be stopping in this village, talking to the village leader and everyone. But at one point we came to a road which bifurcated, and then it was a union. We took a group decision and took a road which certainly was not successful. It was not the planned village, but it was another village where we did our work. So at that time, one of my teacher told me, I shall be telling with shy, somewhere ages and ages hence, two road diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. This is the famous poem of The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And this experience helped me in my decision-making skills. It's not that all my decisions have been successful, but I don't mind. It's okay to be wrong sometime. So this poem gave me a guts, but yeah, it's not that every time I go with a wrong decision. I take some right decisions too, but this somehow has consoled me if I take a wrong decision. So that project was a meaningful project to me. It added something special in my life. Not only the assignments, but the introduction to the poetry. And after that, I kept on looking for opportunities. It's not that every time, but whenever I go through poetries, it helps me think in a beautiful way. And I believe that poetries make you more kind, more human, more musical from inside. And with this, I would like to end my speech with famous line from John Keats. A thing of beauty is joy forever. It never, the loveliness never always increases, and it never passes to nothingness. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Wow, excellent speech. Let's give it up one more time for Mumita. Yeah, Mumita has been putting in the work. I think you're on some sort of a streak right now. Every week you've shown up for the past, feels like 4 months, and you've done a role or you've given a speech every single week. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Someone else who's putting in a lot of the work is sitting right there, Ali Broglie. She's on level 4 of her presentation mastery pathway. That means she is giving a lot of speeches, and she is here tonight to deliver yet another one titled Charlotte's Culinary Extravaganza. Let's get pumped for that. Ali, take it away.
Hi, I'm Allison Burgley, Director of PR for Taste of Charlotte. If you like to sample different kinds of food from different cuisines in one location with some entertainment, all in your city of Charlotte, then I have something for you. From Friday, June 7th through Sunday, June 9th, Charlotte's going to be hosting the annual Taste of Charlotte Festival. How many of you have attended Taste of Charlotte Festival in the past? What's been your experience at the festival?
It's always been really good.
Good. Yeah. Enjoyed the food there? Yeah. We have someone over here. I think we got you. Yeah. What's been your experience?
Lots of things to look at, to experiment, and lots of musics, which I love too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun time for all. And this event actually started in 1998. This 3-day festival this year will be held again in Uptown Charlotte on Tryon Street. It'll be held from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and then from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. Taste of Charlotte is Charlotte's largest food festival. Lots of local restaurants are going to be participating in this event, along with a lot of entertainment and activities. There is going to be over 100 menu items to try at the festival. Whether you like barbecue, pizza, empanadas, burgers, seafood, there is going to be something for you. Don't forget, you dessert lovers out there, we got something for you. We got funnel cakes, ice cream, donuts, pastries. And if you like an adult beverage with your food samples, there'll be local breweries present, and there will be wine as other fun adult drinks as well. And we cannot forget the fun with the food. There is going to be entertainment and activities throughout the entire weekend. There's going to be 3 main stages, and throughout all 3 days, throughout the day, there is going to be musical entertainment at all of them. We got lots of activities for the kids as well, from a slide, bounce house, obstacle course. Also want to point out some highlights of the event that you're not going to want to miss. A fan favorite is going to take place Friday evening at 7:30 p.m. This is the Best of Taste Award. On Friday afternoon, there's going to be a panel of judges sampling all the different menu items from the restaurants. They will then make the decision in numerous categories of who the winners will be. And those winners are going to receive the coveted Silver Platter Award. Now, if you've got kids, definitely come on Sunday, where we're going to have even more kids' activities on Family Fun Day. There's going to be face painting, balloon animals, as well as meet and greets with Charlotte mascots. Attendance to the festival is free. However, coins will need to be purchased for the beverages and the food, as well as for some of the kid activities. There are 2 places where you can purchase your coins. The first is going to be on site. As soon as you enter the festival, there is going to be a booth where you can purchase your coins. However, for a more hassle-free experience, I recommend downloading the Taste of Charlotte app to purchase your coins. This is going to help you avoid those long lines that can occur when you're buying them on site. And it will also allow you throughout the day to add more coins into your account as you're going low. The other great thing about downloading the app is it's going to allow you to have all the information about the day right in front of you. You're going to be able to see the parking. You'll be able to see a map. You will know some FAQs, as well as knowing how many coins are going to be needed for each of the different purchases that you will be making. For the past 26 years, people from all over the Southeast have come to Charlotte to attend the Taste of Charlotte Festival. And actually 11 years ago, was my first time at the festival when I was visiting Charlotte for the very first time and making this decision if I was going to move from Maryland to Charlotte. If you like to go to a local event with great food, activities planned for both adults and kids alike, I strongly encourage you to attend the Taste of Charlotte from June 7th to June 9th. If you have any questions about the event, I'll be around here for a little bit to answer some of your questions. But I also recommend you going to tasteofcharlotte.com. Besides providing lots of information about the event, that's also where you're going to be able to download the app and get on our mailing list to get up-to-date information about the festival. I hope to see many of you in a couple weeks at the Taste of Charlotte Festival for food and fun in our great city of Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Allie. Let's give it up for Allie Mumita one more time. Excellent, excellent speeches, poetry, food. Lovely. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming of death. I bring to you now the 2005 Darwin Award winner. On one fateful afternoon in January of 2005 in Croatia, 55-year-old Marco retreated to his semi-detached workshop to make himself a tool for chimney cleaning. The chimney was too high for a simple broom to work, but if he could attach a brush to a chain and then weigh it down with something, that would do the trick, and he could clean it from the roof by dragging it up and down through the chimney. But what could he use as the weight to hold down the broom on the chain? He happened to have the perfect object. It was heavy yet compact. It was made of metal, so he could weld it to the chain. He must have somehow overlooked the fact that it was also a hand grenade filled with explosives. Marco turned on his welding apparatus and began to create an arc between the chain and the grenade. As the material heated up, the grenade exploded. Go figure. The force of explosion killed poor Marco instantly, blasting shrapnel through the walls of his shed, shattering the windshield of a Mercedes parked outside. But the chimney, however, was untouched. Rest in peace, Marco. Next, we'll be transitioning into a portion of the meeting which is both fun and dreaded, depending on who you are and how you feel about it. And to lead us through that, we have an absolute ruthless killer, Tom Williams, who's going to take us through his funhouse of made-up questions. This segment is open to both our members and guests. So if you're feeling frisky tonight, guests, you can throw your hand up and you can come and play Tom's roulette wheel.
Thank you. It's quite the introduction. I'm going to disappoint you all because my questions are fairly benign. This is the portion of the meeting, as Colin said, where guests and members can participate. And to reiterate what Rockney told us earlier, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question. My questions are not about the Darwin Awards. Historically, Colin has kept the theme a secret, so I didn't even bother to check to see if he had announced it. Who would like to go first? Who would like to go? Who would like to go first? Will? Yeah, come on. Okay. All right, so I want you to brag about yourself a little bit. What's something that you've done a really great job at lately? Tell us about it.
Fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests. It's so tough to pick because I feel like I've done so many things well lately. I guess the thing that I've done really best at is just sitting on the couch and watching sports. This is, to me, is one of the more beautiful times of the year when you have so much going on. You have the hockey playoffs, you have the NBA playoffs, you just had the PGA event here at Quail Hollow. I love it every night. I could just sit on the couch and there's about 4 different games going on that are high intensity, teams battling it out. Good teams too. It's not, during the regular season, you'll turn a game on Tuesday night and it's some team you don't care about that really doesn't have superstars or anything or a rivalry. This is stuff on the line every single night. So the past month, I've done terrible at work. I've done terrible with my chores. I've done terrible keeping up good relationships with friends and family. I did send my mother a gift for Mother's Day, so I did keep up on that as well. But I've sacrificed it all just to be really good at watching sports and eating fried food. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you. Will is a real man of the people and very humble. Even though I asked him not to be. Who wants to go next? Come on up. What's your name?
Deveron.
Deveron?
Yeah, Deveron.
All right, Deveron. So, tell us about something coming up in the near future that you're really excited about and why.
So, I started a new career in education, and I'm just getting prepared and getting organized to. I've been working, since March in this new career, but I'm also looking forward to a vacation this summer. So I'm actually planning the vacation and all the details to take my my wife to Mexico. So she doesn't know exactly where we're going in Mexico. I'm keeping that a secret. So daily, I'm sending little hints and little gestures to let her know, this is what's going to happen. So I'm excited about my planning, coming up with the itinerary. I just paid the bill. So I'm really looking forward to this vacation, being that, I worked, throughout the year in education, and also I'm working this summer. So I'm doing summer school also. So I'm going to need that week just to rejuvenate myself and to come back with a clear mind, to come back into the fire at the end of July, and then going into August to start school again. So I'm really excited about this trip that I'm planning. I think it's going to be really, really fun, and I'm going to do my best to have all the details. Thank you.
All right, so you can't tell your wife where you're going, but can you tell us? And I'll put the mic away. Oh, it's gonna be a really great time. Thank you so much. Who'd like to go next? Come on up. What's your name? I'm sorry? Pooja. All right, Pooja. So, who is your biggest fan and how do they motivate you?
I have a different question. uh, I don't really have a favorite fan. I think there are good qualities about every single person. I feel like I can learn something from every single person that I meet. So I wouldn't say I have a favorite fan, but I have a really good supporter, my mom. So my mom would probably be my biggest fan in that case. She's always there to help guide me, to support me, to listen to my problems, to hug me, to welcome me, to make me feel comfortable, safe. So definitely my mom.
It's a good answer. Thank you for coming up. That's what Table Topics is all about. Just dealing with the hand that you're dealt. Okay, one more? I have two. All right. Who wants to go next? Come on, Tyler. Come on, come on. Welcome, Tyler. Okay. So they say something like, when you want to become the person that you are proud of, that you'll be proud of when you were a kid, right? Like, does that make sense? That's not the exact saying. I'm butchering it. So what is something about you now that your younger self would be proud of? Tell us about yourself.
My younger self would be proud of the person that I am today because of a few reasons. The first reason I would say is because I am a go-getter. And my younger self, I was more timid, as you probably could see a little bit ago, that I was not the first person to raise my hand. So needless to say, I've overcome that fear of what people think. So I am tenacious when it comes to that. Another thing would be that my younger self would be proud that I have a nice family, that they love me. And I wish I got the last question because I could have answered that. My biggest fan, because I do have a biggest fan. And my kids, they are pretty outgoing and they are very loving. They always say, "Daddy, Daddy, when I come home, Daddy, Daddy, where you going when I'm leaving?" So that makes me happy. And my younger self would be proud. And the last thing would be that I would consider myself, being as that where I came from wasn't the most, um, I guess it wasn't the best part of town. I guess you say I didn't come up with, everything. But now I'm a little bit better off, and my younger self would be excited to see that, I'm in a better position. So that's it.
That was very sweet. All right. Is there anybody else who wants to go, or is there anybody here who does not have a role or has no other reason to speak? Andrea, come on. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay. If you were to magically suddenly become old and you were reflecting back on your life, what would be your proudest or some of your most proudest accomplishments?
Thank you, Tom. Suddenly become old. I'm already old. As I look back over my life, I think about the things that are the pivotal moments. Those moments like when you graduated from high school and you were able to give a speech, or you were part of a choir and they gave you your first solo, or recently where they asked you to just do a poem to tribute as a tribute to mothers. Or when my daughters graduated from boot camp and she told me it was because of me and the things that I put in her is the reason why she was strong enough to become a Marine. Or when I look into my daughter just today, she told me, Mom, I'm proud of you. Don't stop. Or the moment when I was able to move my mom into a better place and take care of her. All of those things, those little things and those big things mean so much that I know that as I grow older, I will be most proud of those moments with my family. No matter how many crowns I win, no matter how many job promotions or how much money I make, how many books I write, none of that will really matter if I didn't treat my family right. So those will be the times and the things that I will be most proud of. Thank you for that question.
Very much. All right. Thank you all for bearing with me. We're going to end the table topic section now and turn it back over to Colin.
Not so fast, Tom. So if you've been here before and you've seen him give, are we on? Is the mic on, David? I just see a bunch of numbers. Okay. Okay. Yeah, don't strangle the mic. Don't strangle the mic. So if you've seen Tom lead table topics before, you've seen different flavors of his whimsical brain. Absolutely maniacal questions last time you gave table topics, Tom. You know, just ruthless. But then this time you hit us with some pretty gentle ones. What's your angle, man? Are you trying to keep us on our toes?
I've just been proud of myself lately. And so I thought that it would be really nice to give other people an opportunity to talk about things that they're proud of. So I'm just kind of going with my emotions on any given week. Short answer. All right.
Not entirely trusting of that answer, but thank you very much, Tom. So does anyone remember rule number 1 of the Darwin Awards? Yeah, Tyler said you have to be dead or sterile, right? However, the Darwin Awards also recognizes individuals who somehow managed to thread that very, very slim needle between dying and sterility, doing something incredibly stupid that you should have died from or should have been rendered sterile from, but yet somehow magically did not. And these are called the Darwin Awards honorable mentions. I bring to you today the story, the honorable mention of Lawn Chair Larry. In fact, I don't really need to read for this one because this was the first story I ever encountered that was a gateway drug to the Darwin Awards themselves. It was 1982, San Pedro, California, which is in the greater Los Angeles area. We find Lawn Chair Larry, about 40-ish years old, never really accomplished his key childhood dream of becoming an Air Force pilot. His eyesight was bad. They wouldn't take him. So he became a truck driver instead. But that dream of flying was a flame that never truly died out in Larry's somewhat crooked heart. So he went to the store and he bought a lawn chair at Sears. I was baffled by this when I read it. It cost $109 in 1982 for a lawn chair. Must have been a pretty good lawn chair. And he also purchased 42 helium-filled weather balloons and attached them to the lawn chair. He bolted the lawn chair to a little plywood platform, put a basket on there, threw in a pellet gun, sandwiches, 2 liters of Coca-Cola, and a camera. Cut the cord, and up he went, 16,000 feet into controlled airspace over Long Beach, California. The thought was that he would take the pellet gun and begin to shoot balloons one by one in a balanced manner to control his descent back down to Earth. Some of the stuff went overboard. Some of the extra pellets from the pellet gun went overboard. So he was able to shoot some of them, but didn't quite come down in the manner that he wanted to. He was spotted by 2 commercial airliners. Airspace over the eastern part of the Los Angeles metro was cleared. He eventually came down into a power line. A power line broke, caused a 20-minute outage of over 100,000 people in the city of Long Beach, but he was able to safely descend down the power pole. Is that what we call that? Pole? He came down the pole, was promptly arrested, and yeah, he managed to live through that whole endeavor. He was not forcibly sterilized. I think you can make the argument that he perhaps should have been. But the whole incident was later the inspiration for a movie, 2023 movie in the United Kingdom, Danny Deckchair. Also a musical, and numerous, and by numerous, I mean no fewer than 8 or 9 imitators. So I'll stick with the airplanes. Next, I'd like to move into our general evaluation portion of the meeting. Elvis, you have your work cut out for you tonight. Let's tell the folks where this one went off course.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I have the pleasure to be the general evaluator tonight. And as a general evaluator, I'm going to be introducing the evaluators for the prepared speeches. And also, I'm going to be calling upon the timer and the grammarian. And finally, I will give a whole evaluation of the meeting. I will now proceed to call upon our first evaluator, who is our presiding officer, Dr. Eric Laxer, who is going to be evaluating Momita's speech.
Thank you, Elvis. Good evening, Toastmasters, honorable guests, and good evening, Momita. Momita, I'm going to go over several things that I thought you did well, and then at the end, I'm going to offer just a few suggestions to work on. The first thing is, thank you for entering your data on our agenda. That's something that we have been trying to get members to do every time they give a speech, and you did it. You actually emailed me confirming that you put the data in. And that helps our Toastmaster of the day. It helps everybody follow the meeting. And it also helps me as your general evaluator. Second thing you did well was, I love the way you calmly walked up here. You had a big smile on your face. You took the microphone, shook hands with Colin, and then you jumped right into your speech. And you addressed us with such kindness and calmness that I think it helped me enhance my enjoyment of your speech. So I loved that beginning. You used the word of the day, it was great. You had some vocal variety in there. You had eye contact. You were spanning the room the entire time, pausing with each different area. You didn't let anybody feel that they were not included as part of your talk. And I love that you spoke about poetry. You blended beautiful imagery of your personal experience in India with words of some of our most famous poets, with some of the most famous poems, Kubla Khan and then The Road Not Taken. And I love your choice of content when you did that. I liked how you were using your right arm for body language. Sometimes it's a little difficult if we're holding notes or in your case, a device, but you still managed to use your arm to engage the audience a little bit more. And I thought that enhanced your speech. A couple of things that I would suggest working on. One of them is you were here the whole time. Move around a little bit, come out, come at us, connect with us a little bit better. I think that's a good way of bringing the audience into your speech a little bit better. And because you speak softly, I think that would enhance our ability to hear what you were saying because your content was so strong. And just to give you an example of how I think you could use that and also blend pauses into your speech for effect, the way you ended your speech, the content was great. And I think you said something like, that project was very meaningful to me. It helped me think in a beautiful way. Poetry makes you more kind, beautiful, and something like musical inside. And I might not be getting all the words correct, but you stood back here. And so one way to enhance that is to come forward and pauses. So this is how I would imagine another way to do it could be is that project was very meaningful to me. And then you just let that hang out there and let us guess, well, how is it meaningful? Don't tell us right away. It helped me think in a beautiful way. So doing a little bit more of that allows us to hear your message better and also allows you to tease the audience and have that bigger impact when you finish. Great job. It's been a pleasure watching you evolve as a speaker up here. Good luck.
Thank you, Eric. Excellent evaluation as always. He has mastered that craft of evaluating. And now another master of evaluation is going to be evaluating the second speech of Alison Brogley is Jamie Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a pleasure to be the evaluator for Alison's speech tonight. As I always do, I'm going to share my feedback on 3 dimensions: structure, content, and delivery. I'll highlight some of the things I thought you did particularly well, as well as some things that you might think about in the future to be even more effective on this particular speech. Let's start with structure. Some of the things I thought you did a fantastic job. Great job luring us into the speech right out of the beginning. You gave this sort of preamble of this exciting new event that we should all know about because it's going to bring you to some of the best food that the city has to offer. So just getting us excited about what that event right out of the gate. Fantastic job. You used a testimonial towards the end of the speech where you talked about your first time participating and joining the Taste of Charlotte and how that kind of transformed your understanding of the city and maybe how you started to appreciate the city and maybe led you to this spot right now. So that was, I think, a really fantastic way. Anytime you can bring a testimonial into a speech, it helps bring it to life. It makes it more personal, and it gets us to think of you as a really credible person on this particular topic. Audience participation, always a great way right out of the gate. What I thought you did a particularly good job of is making it natural. Sometimes it feels a little forced, but you came right out and found a couple of people. It was just really casual. It was a really easy way to ease everybody into the speech and into the topic. And I thought you did a fantastic job of that as well. No, I don't have any opportunities on this. Great job. Content. There was a lot of information in this, like a lot of information that you packed in about all the amazing stuff that's happening from a food perspective, from a drink perspective, from a music perspective, from an event perspective. And I thought you made it really easy to follow. Like that could have been really hard to get through all that stuff, or it could have felt like a laundry list of things, but you made it really easy to follow. You had a great structure throughout when you were clearly hitting the highlights for each of those key parts of the event throughout the weekend. You kept orienting us to the days, you kept orienting us to the different audiences and who might appreciate what. Like that was a lot, and you did a really fantastic job of that. You've directed people to get, oh, this is the other thing I wanted to say. At the end, after all that content, you did a really great job of directing people to the site. Like, I know that was a lot of information. You can't possibly have absorbed it all in that one speech. So go check out more information, go to our website, go to our app, and you can get all the details from that. So a great way to kind of culminate the speech as well. In terms of opportunities on content, I think if you can have even bigger transitions to help delineate, here I'm talking about the food. Now let's talk about the music. Now let's talk about the events. So make it really clear that we're transitioning to the next part of the event, or the next thing that you want to reinforce about the speech, because sometimes it wasn't quite clear that we were leaving the food and moving into the next one. Another thing that you might, and this gets to a comment I'll make in a second, is how do you use imagery more in the speech? So can you taste, can you smell the funnel cakes? Like bring it to life for your audience out there. This is all about food. This is all about drink. This is all about events. Like really lean in to those sensory experiences that they will get only by coming to this event. Delivery, great eye contact, good hand gestures throughout. I thought you were confident throughout. You used the space really well. Some opportunities here, more voice inflection. You did a great job at the end, at the conclusion of coming out and sort of reinforcing that excitement to end on that punctuation point, that exclamation point, smiled, more of that throughout the whole speech. Really highlight, emphasize that you're super excited about this event and smile and show the people how much fun they're going to have. I think that's going to be a really important thing. Generally evolve your public speaking style to become more passionate. I want to see you become a more passionate speaker about the topics that you're covering. That's it. Great job as always. I look forward to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Another excellent evaluation telling us how to evolve our speeches to the next level. And now I'm going to give a general evaluation of the meeting as a whole before I call upon the grammarian. And I specifically would like you to actually pay attention to my filler words as well. So I will start with the meeting saying we started the meeting on time as usual, and it's something very good specifically because sometimes we start waiting for more people to come, or we see that there are not as many people as we used to have here, but we started no matter the amount of people that were here, and that helps us keep on time, respect the time of the others who were here on time, and also allows the rest of the people to continue coming in the meeting to flow. So that was a great thing that we did. The Toastmaster, as always, with a great theme this time, very entertaining and humorous. And I like that you always put your personal touch and make it entertaining for all of us. Makes it flow very fast in a way that we keep very engaged the entire meeting. So great job there. I liked also the fact that we are trying to fill out all the positions and all the roles, I should rather say. And we were missing an inspirational thought master. And that was a good, also another opportunity that was used with Malcolm that graciously also volunteered to give us an inspirational thought. And a great job speaking off the cuff and coming up with an inspirational line. The grammarian, great job explaining the role. You came out very genuine and expressing how you came up with the word of the day was very difficult to do because of the conflicting topic, maybe. The timer, Rockney, very good job at volunteering, coming up at the at the 11th hour. And you gave a very good explanation of the timer role and have been doing a very good and excellent job, I would say. The speakers, great speeches, very inspirational. Momita and Allison, great job. Table topics, Tom, very good questions and an excellent job explaining the role and actually reiterating the use of the time when you are doing the table topics. Even though there was some explanation at some point, you reiterated that this is the time that is going to be taken in, and also you came up with very thought-provoking questions, very good questions. Excellent answers for all the volunteers. You did an excellent job. Each one of you, Will, Devin, Kuya, Tyler, Andrea, very good job. Devin, I would say pay a little attention to the filler words. But other than that, everybody, a great job. Evaluators, Eric Laxer, Jamie, very well done evaluation. Eric, you started giving feedback even beyond you went beyond the speech. You started giving feedback about what happened before the speaker even came up to the stage, which is also very good, and paid really good attention of what's happening before the speech, during the speech, gave excellent points of improvement, and also gave examples. Jamie, the same thing. I love your format. You come with the structure, the content, the delivery, and then give excellent examples always of how to improve. Very specific and things that we can all take with us and put it into our speeches next time. All in all, I think we did a great job, great evaluation, great structure. And with that, I will leave you with our grammarian, who is going to give us our grammarian report. Give it up for Jasmine.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elvis. So a few people used the word of the day, which was evolve. We had in the first half of the meeting, Mumita used it twice, so I'm going to count that as 2. And then the second half of the meeting, we had Elvis, Jamie, and Eric, who all used the word of the day. Then as far as filler words, we got 0 filler words from Colin, as usual. Andrea, Jamie, Eric, Tom, Will, and Tyler. And then for some reason today, the uhs and the ums were the only filler words. We got a few of them, just one from Rockney, one from Mumita, one from Elvis, and one from Pooja. And then is it Deveron? Deveron. A couple of ums there. I think if you just slow down a little bit, I think it's because you're speaking as fast as you're thinking is why you're getting them. So if you slow down a little bit, I think it'll like negate some of those ums. But yeah, outside of that, everyone did a phenomenal job. And I will pass it back over to Elvis.
Thank you so much. And finally, but not least, I am going to call upon our timer to give us the timer's report. Please, Rodney.
Thank you so much. The official timers report, starting with the standard speeches. Momita, 8 minutes and 17 seconds. Ali, 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Table topics. Will, 1 minute, 22 seconds. Deveron, 1 minute, 34 seconds. Kuja, 48 seconds. Tyler, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Andrea, 1 minute, 35 seconds. For the evaluators, Eric, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Jamie, 3 minutes and 38 seconds. General evaluation, Elvis, 4 minutes and 41 seconds. And the grammarian, Yasmin, 1 minute and 13 seconds. So overall, pretty much everybody did pretty good. I mean, we went a little over when it came to the standard speeches and maybe with the evaluators, but everything else went pretty well. So thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. And with that, we conclude our evaluation portion of the meeting. And I'll turn the control back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Expertly managed and handled a general evaluation, Elvis. Let's give it up for Elvis and our speech evaluators one more time. It's a labor of love, the evaluation. So much, much, much appreciated. I will leave you all tonight with a little heartfelt thought. The stories that were shared tonight about the Darwin Awards recipients are about stupid people, or maybe not so stupid people who just had a fit of stupidity. Obviously, everyone in this room cannot identify with that. All of you are smart, intelligent, altruistic, rational. I'd be very surprised if you or frankly anyone that you know would ever do something that would even rise to the level of a Darwin Award nominee or honorable mention nominee. But in a world that feels increasingly crazy and crazed and influenced by stupid people and stupid thoughts, I encourage you all to be beacons of logic and intelligence wherever you go. Obviously, we're in good company here. I don't think very many people who are not rational, logical, well-intentioned, ambitious find themselves in a room on a Tuesday night working on becoming better speakers. But take that beautiful light out with you into the world and try to spread it like an epidemic, but a positive one of sorts. Thank you again for being such a great crowd tonight. Look forward to seeing you next week, same time here in this magical game show. And I'll turn things back to Eric Laxer, our president, our fearless leader, our shepherd.
Outstanding job, Colin. Once again, we thank you so much for those interesting facts. We're all going to go home and tell our significant others a couple of stories, no doubt. Let's give our guests an opportunity to share a word or two of what they thought about the meeting. And I'm going to start here with Tyler, just your thoughts on tonight's meeting.
I enjoyed myself and can't wait to come back. I didn't watch the whole video on YouTube, but I watched a lot of it, so I was prepared for much of it. But being able to be here in person, I was able to see everyone's reactions and see all of the speakers' body languages and everything. So it made me feel better about, being around more people. So I can't wait to come back and be a part.
Everyone, if we give you a free membership for the club, will you take Jamie, our treasurer, with you to Mexico? You don't have to answer that. Okay, please share a few words about tonight.
I thought tonight was great. I was glad I had the courage to stand up and speak. I said I would, and I did. So I'm happy for that. I appreciate the feedback that was given to me, and I'm going to take it and work on it daily to become better. Thank you.
Thank you. Pooja.
Hi. I thought tonight was really fun. I liked participating in the table topics. I thought it was a nice little challenge. I hope I answered the question right. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
Hi, everyone. I thought it was a great meeting. I really enjoyed myself again, and nothing happened that would stop me from coming back.
Thank you, everybody. I want to just remind our members, you may have seen the email. We have our club officers elections. We've chosen the date, May 28th, 2 weeks from tonight. Please be here. It will be toward the end of our meeting. We need a quorum of at least half of the members present. And I just want to take the last minute to see if we can get anybody to sign up for roles next week. We need a Toastmaster, an inspirational thought master. Malcolm's already volunteered to be our grammarian. You're the Toastmaster? Were you already signed up for Toastmaster? Okay, fantastic. Anybody else? Inspirational thought? Rockney? Super. Anyone for table topics? Bueller? Momita? Fantastic. Thank you. And we also need a general evaluator. Thank you, Tom. And we need a speech evaluator if anyone's interested in doing that. All right. Well, so far, so good. That's pretty good. Okay. What a wonderful evening. Thank you all for your part. Of course. And except for one more thing. Go ahead, Andrea. He's tearing up. We'd give him the microphone, but the evening.
Toastmasters mechanical pencil. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Andrea. And with that, I would like to remind everybody to maybe just help clean up and put stuff away. But that brings this evening's meeting to a close.